Hey guys, what's up? Today I'm going to be sharing with you some physical symptoms of anxiety that maybe you have never even thought of being symptoms of anxiety before. I know for me, I have struggled with these physical symptoms of anxiety for most of my life, if not all of my life, and it can feel so real. It feels like you need medical attention. It feels like there's something seriously wrong with your health. And then that in and of itself sometimes launches you into a whole nother area of worry, a whole different area of fear and anxiety, now worrying about your health. How frustrating is that? Have you guys ever found yourself in that kind of loop where, maybe you're worried about nothing or you're worried about something and your anxiety starting to act up and then these physical symptoms start to come out and then all of a sudden you're wondering if you're okay, if you need to go to the hospital, if you need to go to the doctor. I so many times have landed in the doctor's office because of panic attacks, because of anxiety. Even just a couple of months ago, I was at a cardiologist because I thought that there was something wrong with my heart, when in fact I was just incredibly anxious and incredibly stressed, which is one of the symptoms that we'll get into in a moment here. But something that I want you to keep in mind, and a couple things that have really helped me when it comes to these physical symptoms that can just feel so real in the moment, is number one, our bodies are so wise. When we are taking care of our bodies and when we are fueling our bodies with proper nourishment and movement and just not clogging our bodies with synthetics and fragrance and all of those things, our body wants to heal, right? Our body is always working towards a level of homeostasis to help us heal. So, a lot of times, these physical symptoms that come up with anxiety, it's actually our body's healing effort. It doesn't feel that way. It feels like the complete opposite. It feels like we're literally dying sometimes, right? But it's actually our body working towards finding a state of balance and finding a state of healing for ourselves. And so the next time that you're experiencing one of these physical symptoms that I'm going to be talking about today, remind yourself of that truth. Remind yourself of the fact that you're feeling the symptom because your body is actually trying to navigate what's going on and actually trying to heal you. Another thing to keep in mind is that if this has helped me so many times, if you were actually, having a massive heart attack, like sometimes we maybe convince ourselves we are having, or if you were actually not breathing properly and you were actually not going to, you know, be able to get a breath of air in, you would not have the time to sit and think and worry about if you are breathing or not, right? Um, and so that has really helped me over the years, is just reminding myself, okay, if I were actually dealing with the thing that I am so afraid of happening within my health, I wouldn't have the time to worry about it. You would just deal with it, right? Think about a time in your life where you went through something that was maybe really hard and you just responded to it, right? You don't have time to kind of twiddle your thumbs and think about how you would react and how you would respond. You just have to deal with it in the moment as it comes up. And sometimes after that is when the anxiety starts to creep in of, well, what if that thing happens again, right? I've been there before too. But getting back to just these physical symptoms of anxiety, and this is, not in a way to scare anyone. I don't want anyone to feel like I'm trying to scare you with talking about these symptoms, but I want to bring these symptoms to light. I want us to be able to connect on this and realize, oh, okay, this is anxiety. This is my anxiety manifesting physically, because it does do that, right? Oftentimes we think that anxiety is just something that's in our mind, it's just something that's mental, it's just thought, it's just feelings, but it can be so much more than that. And I feel like it's important to talk about that and bring that to light. So, the number one symptom of anxiety, and by the way, I am talking about the symptoms that just kind of came to my mind and a lot of them that I've experienced before. There are so many more. There are so many more. These are just a few that I've experienced and feel comfortable talking on. One is shortness of breath. This has probably been my main symptom of anxiety throughout my life, especially when I was a little girl and not really understanding what my body was doing when I was feeling that shortness of breath. I was like, I'm not breathing right. I'm going to stop breathing. I thought that the human body could just stop breathing and for no apparent reason, right? And it can feel that way because so often when we're feeling anxious, we're breathing so shallow into our chest. It feels like we can't get a deep enough breath. And so reminding ourselves that that is a symptom of anxiety. And I can do a whole nother video of how to actually deal with these symptoms, maybe even one by one, especially with breath, because as a yoga teacher, I do a lot of breath work and I teach a lot of breath work. And there's some breath work that honestly works really well for those moments where I'm feeling short of breath and feeling anxious. And then there's honestly some breath work that I have to avoid when I'm feeling that way because it will just kind of make me feel more anxious. Okay, and then another one is tightness and soreness of your chest. I just shared with you just now is that I went to the cardiologist just a few months ago because I felt this pressure and this tightness and this almost pain in my chest from being so stressed and so anxious. And then that spiraled into a whole nother thing of what if I'm having a heart attack? What if the heart condition that I had when I was a child is coming back? What if all of these things, right? And I went and they, did a full body scan on me with my heart and realized that everything was okay. Think about the muscles of your body, and it doesn't even only have to be your chest that feels sore, it could be like body aches almost, but think about how much you are tensing when you are stressed, when you are anxious, when you're in a panic, right? We tense our body, we tense our muscles, and a lot of times, especially, we tense our chest, okay? And so that is a symptom of anxiety. And then speaking of this tension, I want to lead this into digestive issues. That is a huge, huge physical symptom of anxiety. I've always thought of myself as someone who didn't have digestive problems. And just recently, I've been noticing how when I'm feeling anxious, my digestion acts up. And I think this is something that has happened my whole life, but I'm just now becoming aware of it. When we are feeling anxious, we just we tighten the muscles of our chest. Notice that next time you're feeling anxious or next time you're in a situation where you have high anxiety, notice what your stomach is doing. And a lot of times you're clenching your stomach. And how are your organs supposed to function optimally if they're clenched all the time? Like if they're like this, right? Of course you're going to have digestive issues because of that, whether it shows up as nausea or constipation or maybe even diarrhea or sorry, my phone just, there we go, or some other physical symptom regarding your digestive system. That is extremely common when it comes to anxiety. And then another thing is uncontrollable sweating or even redness, right? Think about all of the adrenaline that is pumping through your body, all the endorphins pumping through your body when you are feeling anxious, right? Think about that fight or flight response, right? You get heated, right? That could be another symptom too, is overheating, right? The sweating, the redness. So your blood is moving so quickly through your body, which may cause sweating, which may cause redness, which may feel extremely embarrassing to be, in public and you're sweating so much and you're feeling so red. And again, that can lead to a whole nother feeling of anxiety of, oh my gosh, I'm anxious that I'm going to get red, or I'm anxious I'm going to get sweaty in public, and it can lead to a very real thing. But just know that there's nothing wrong with you and that it is anxiety. It's 100% possible that your response is sweating or becoming red in your skin tone. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is heart palpitations, this fluttering feeling in your chest, this fluttering feeling in your heart. This is 100% something that happens when you are dealing with a lot of anxious emotions. And the thing too that's coming to mind here for me is realizing that all of this is connected, you guys. All of this is connected. As I'm talking on these things, I'm thinking about the heart palpitations, and that's so much related to digestion, especially that like tightening of your, you're literally tightening all of your organs as you are tightening your muscles, right? You're feeling that soreness all throughout your body because of that. And of course, that's going to lead to some issues with how your body's responding to things, right? Whether it be your heart feeling as though it's like skipping a beat or beating faster than it normally is, right? And so just know that all of this is interconnected. And I think that a lot of times when it comes to feeling the physical symptoms of anxiety, the first step with anything, especially regarding anxiety, is knowing that you just need to bring to light what it is. Find the root cause of what it is. And the root cause could certainly be anxiety or maybe something else that you're dealing with. And that's something that I definitely recommend working with a health professional to find what it is exactly for you. But I hope that this video at least helped you to not feel alone in this battle, because sometimes, you know, there are feelings that we get with our anxiety, and it's like, is it actually anxiety? Is it possible that I'm feeling all of these symptoms just because of anxiety? Or is there actually something wrong with me? So I hope that this at least brought to light, you know, a connection to know that you are absolutely not alone. There's so many other videos like this on the internet of other people sharing their testimonies and experiences, and just know that you are not alone. And I know that sometimes that's not the easiest thing to digest or the best thing to even hear, but I know sometimes that's absolutely helpful. One more thing that I actually just realized I forgot though is another symptom of anxiety that has been one that I recently discovered and was able to put into words is feeling as though there is pressure behind your eyes, or feeling as though like your head is being squeezed. There are so many times where I'm feeling anxious or like I get dizzy or something, and I'm just like, my head is in my hands and I just don't know how to lift my head up. Like my head just feels so heavy. And to that, I say, think about how much is going on up here in your mind, in your brain, when you are experiencing anxiety, right? A lot of times we're overthinking. A lot of times there's like mental fatigue happening, right? And so that feeling of that pressure with your head and with your eyes and maybe even headaches or migraines completely makes sense, because there's so much activity happening up here that of course you're going to have a physical sensation up there, right? So that's what I have for you guys today. I would love to hear from you if this video connected with you, if there's any other symptoms that maybe I am not thinking of right now and didn't bring up that maybe you want to share in the comments. That way other people can connect on it. And until next time, I will see you next time. And I hope that you have a great day. Bye, guys.